Okay, so for this part of the lab, we were told to use the factorial class that we created in part 1. So if I look at that real quick, I have my data field as the base. I have 2 constructors, a no argument, and one where you input the base. I have a method where you set the base and a method where you get the results of multiplying the factorial out. And here I have it returning a big decimal. So in order for this to work, I need to go up to the top and import the big decimal class. Yeah, not integer. Jump the gun on that. Okay, so in my test class, I'm going to go ahead and make my main method, but I also want to make a method that's going to return the approximated value of Euler's number. Now, because of this algorithm that I'm using, it stops after a certain amount of adding fractions of factorials. So we're putting in a max as my parameter here. Now, I need to go ahead and create some objects. We have our big decimal object called results. And we're going to start this off with a value of 1. And then I'm going to have a factorial object that I'm calling denom for the denominator. And I'm not going to give that a value just yet. So inside my for loop, we're going to start at 1. And we're going to go up to the max. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my denominator, or set the value of the base for the denominator to I. And then we're going to do some calculations for the result. Because Euler's, the algorithm has you adding 1 over the factorial of I to the results, we need to use our class methods for big decimal class to make that happen. So result is going to equal result plus, I need to do 1 divided by the result for my factorial, so denom.get results. And I'm going to set a scale. So for approximating, we'll just say 100. And I need to set a rounding mode. So big decimal, and we're going to round half up. So after we go out until the max, we'll return the result. Now back up in main, I just need a simple for loop. I was told to start this at 100 and go up until 2000, and we're going to increment by 100. And all I'm going to do is print out. We're going to use printf to make a nice format here. We're going to do I equals, and we'll print out the value of I. I'm giving it a width of 5 for fun. And then we'll do E equals. Now, this is going to be a floating, and I can control how many decimal places show. So I'm going to set that to 50 decimal places, because why not? And I'm going to have it end line after each iteration. So now we need it to show I, and we need it to show the approx Euler of I. What is my error? But because we're using such large numbers anyway, my approximations are all the same. I imagine if I went out to millions after the decimal, we might actually see some differences.